Good afternoon, everyone. I am James Stapleton. I'm the president and CEO of codefi, and we welcome you to today's Show Me Connection webinar. Thanks so much for taking a little time out of your afternoon to join us. If you haven't yet, please hop in the chat, and if you so oblige, share your contact information. Looks like we have a good turnout for today's program, and you may be able to connect with some others who are on today and a part of our network. If you're new here, the network is obviously a joint effort started by the E-Factory in Springfield and Missouri State University and codefi, which is headquartered in Cape Girardeau with offices here in Springfield as well. And our organizations are thrilled you're here. We have a really good lineup today of some good information, we hope, for you. An update about some legislation that has been worked on for many years that with the help of a large number of you likely, and the lead organization for Next Missouri was passed today. We'll give you a sneak peek into a full announcement that'll be coming soon about an initiative codefi calls Make Missouri AI Ready, kind of the latest of our skills training initiatives. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll have Crystal Irons from E-Factory and Missouri State SBDC give you a Show Me Network update. So to kick things off, I want to welcome Jason Weems, principal of Rise Policy, who I'm sure many of you know, and the leader of Next Missouri, and he's going to give us an update about some widely celebrated and exciting news. Jason, take it over.
Yeah, thanks, James, and thanks to the whole team at the Show Me Network for the opportunity to share some exciting news. It's always great when there's good news to share, and so I'm happy to be able to do so today. Hopefully, you've already heard a little bit about this, but as you see on your screen, last month, as the legislative session was wrapping up in Jefferson City, the General Assembly finally passed legislation that will establish a statewide angel investor tax credit in Missouri. The bill does some other things too. You see innovation zones mentioned on the slide, but I'm going to focus just today on the angel investor tax credit piece of the bill. Next slide, please. So this, as James alluded to, right, has been a long time coming and a really big win for Missouri entrepreneurs. This angel investor tax credit will help unlock additional capital for Missouri companies. It's going to help close capital gaps. We believe that it will bring new investors off the sidelines and into the market. And all of that will mean greater follow-on investment for Missouri companies, startups that started in Missouri being able to stay here in our state where they can put down roots, create jobs, and spur innovation and economic growth. Next slide, please. So I wanted to give you just a high-level view of a few key aspects of how the tax credit will work. The first is program size. So the legislature is going to allocate $6 million in tax credits in 2027 and in 2028. If credits are used up in one of those program years, then the program has the opportunity to grow in the future. So as there is demonstrated demand for this credit, which we expect there will be, the General Assembly has created provisions so that the number of credits, the total amount of credits, can increase over time so that more Missouri startups are able to take advantage of this tool. The credit has a 40% value across the state with a plus up in some different parts of Missouri. So if a startup is located in a rural county, population, I believe, is defined in the bill as under 100,000 residents in a county. So most of Missouri, geographic wise, kind of fits that definition. The credit increases to 50%. We know that across the state, New and young businesses often struggle to raise capital, but those challenges can be especially acute in smaller and rural communities. And so this is an added incentive for investors to look in those places too, where there are good, high quality companies being formed and to put their money into those businesses. And then finally, even an additional greater value of the tax credit in these innovation zones that the legislation establishes, which cities will have the opportunity to opt into if they choose. Happy to talk to anyone about that aspect of the program. If you have questions, my email is in the chat. Two other things I want to point out. First is that we've tried to, in the bill, really establish geographic fairness. So over the first 6 months of every calendar year, the state will allocate tax credits among 4 different regions in Missouri. You can think of those regions as Greater Kansas City plus, Greater St. Louis plus, north of I-70, and south of I-70. After the first 6 months of the year, any unused credits from any of those regions then get put back into one pool and are available to any company and investor statewide. Finally, last piece on business qualification. The angel tax credit is designed for a certain type of new company. There are a number of different ways in which that's defined, but some of the ones that are most important are the annual gross revenue has to be less than $5 million, and the company in general needs to be less than 5 years old. Over the next few months, once Governor Kehoe signs the bill, we and others will be working with the Department of Economic Development and the Missouri Technology Corporation, which will play a role in determining eligibility for the tax credits to implement this program and to make sure that it adheres to the purposes that were spelled out in the bill. Last slide, please. So a little quick timeline of legislation to implementation. The governor now has this bill on his desk. We expect him to soon sign it. After that takes place, as I said, the Department of Economic Development and MTC will begin developing program rules and application processes. The other things that I think are really important for the remainder of this year are investor education and entrepreneur education. We want this tax credit to have its intended effect, and for that to happen, people need to know about it. So thanks, James, eFactory, and Show Me Network for giving me a chance to talk a little bit about it today. And then the credit is slated to go into effect in 2027. And we expect at that time, companies will begin using it. Investors will be putting additional dollars into companies, and we'll start seeing some of these effects of startups getting greater access to capital, really helping them spur growth and development in the state. So thanks, James, for giving me the chance to just spend a few minutes on this. And thanks to you and to many others on this call for the work and advocacy that you put in over the years to get us to this point.
Thanks so much, Jason. We really appreciate you taking the time, and obviously we thank you for the diligence and years of work getting this one across the finish line, as folks say. And obviously, given the nature and sort of locus of our network, we're certainly appreciative, and we're active in helping lobby a little bit a couple of years ago for that markup in rural regions. And so I really appreciate you recognizing that in those places, that gap tends to be a little more of a challenge to fill. And we really hope this will be one of the tools that we can help to do that. So thank you again.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. Nikki, if you want to jump forward, I'm going to wear not only the MC hat here for a moment, but share with all of you today a little bit of scoop, I guess we would call it, some advanced information about a new initiative in codefi's AI skills training. This, as many of you know, we have a long history at codefi and through the Show Me Network of providing tech skill-based training, non-traditional training that for about a 9-year period was focused around helping individuals prepare to enter the occupation of software developer. Obviously, a couple of years ago, the Earth changed on its axis, and how people develop software using AI tools now is much different, and has also shaken up really the occupational pathways that we were so used to being able to rely on during those years we were providing that training. We provided training to over 650 adults, many of them under and unemployed, many of them in remote mid-market communities, and many of them ended up working not only in employers in the state, larger, well-established employers, but also for many of the startup companies that we have been supporting in Southern and now across Missouri. So our reaction needed to be swift, and we needed to comprehensively kind of relook at what occupational pathways that we thought through this advancement of AI over the last year or so would bring about opportunities that were similar to our software developer training program in the past. Nikki, if you want to advance to the next slide. So our answer to this was to begin about a year and a half ago, offering a set of training workshops and courses that are available through the Show Me Network, that are virtual and either live or can be self-paced with support of our AI developers. In many of these courses, if you glance at kind of the descriptions, you'll see were really kind of focused on and built around serving founders. Obviously, one of the great things about the advancement in AI assisted coding is that non-technical, non-computer science individuals now we're building lots of software, and many founders now have opportunities to build prototypes, to even build minimum viable products to take to market initially. And many of these courses were sort of designed initially to help people sort through all of the different options that are available and get some assistance from our professional developers to gain some traction and get off to a good start. A couple of these courses that we've been offering were also more advanced, more suited for experienced professional software developers, many of whom we had been working with in the past, but also folks we've never met before that were just looking to upskill, get everyone's best ideas about how to increase their own productivity, which is a big thing going on within the software developer community. And then, Nikki, if you want to advance slide. Obviously, our tradition is to provide these courses and access to them in a variety of different ways. Over the last year and a half or so, we've moved from being kind of Southern Missouri oriented to offering our training programs statewide. We do so in some cases on site. All the programs are available virtual, some live, as I mentioned, and some self-paced, and we'll continue that into the future. So we've had a great kind of run set of experiments, kind of working through really learning what our trainees needed and how we could better support them. And then several months ago, maybe even a year ago now, our federal government began publishing a variety of policies that started to drive our interest back into kind of our traditional roots in workforce development. Next slide, please. And the result of that is an initiative that we are branding Make Missouri AI Ready. And it is a federally aligned workforce pipeline program, kind of our response to what our federal administration deems as being high priority frameworks and approaches to really a comprehensive set of training needs that we have in our businesses and organizations across the country. Next slide, please. And Many of you may be aware of this as you follow this information, but there is no question that this is an extremely high priority with the federal administration across a variety of agencies and through a number of different policy moments. We've now have all the information we need and have had for a while on how we should approach based on these frameworks and information going to market to try to answer the big question that was really sown across all of this policy stack, and that was who will deliver applied AI training to working Americans. And so our response to that, our answer to that is this initiative we call Make Missouri AI Ready. Next slide, please. So what we built is actually a tiered skill-based training program that will lead to the preparation for an occupation being sort of phrased or named at this point as AI integration specialist. It's kind of a mouthful and probably words that mean different things to different ones of you. But the structure of the program probably gives you some insight into how people would use the skills that they would gain from our program or ones like it in their workplace. The first tier of the program and the structure, including training, is foundational, really for any employee, any level. I would say for you workforce professionals, we are targeting with our program incumbent workers, probably first and foremost. We also obviously will be serving new entrants into the workforce coming out of our community college partners and four-year institutions, students, graduates, if you will, that are looking to upskill and be competitive would be great for taking this program to kind of add that additional practical skill set. And then finally, dislocated workers. There are large numbers from especially big tech companies of software developers and other traditional tech occupations that are looking for new occupations and to develop new skills. And so we'll be serving them as well. So a foundational tier, then scaffolded on top of that, an applied and advanced tier of programming. If you go to the next slide, Nikki, it actually ends up being 5 tracks with a sort of single shared core. Obviously, we'll provide more information about the program as it becomes available later in the third quarter of this year. But you get a sense of the number of modules, the hours of training that are going to be included in the program, and then the types of modules or courses that'll be available in each track. Obviously, the foundational literacy components would be for everybody. And then you start kind of layering onto that a series of applied segments. So one we call Builder. And these are really for people that want to deploy AI into their daily work. These are going to be heavily skill-based, applied in the tradition of our training. It's not training or education about it. It's really training and education about doing it. And so there's a lot of work in the curriculum where individuals learn advanced or emerging tool sets and really how to be efficient with those tools in their workplace setting, which the next tier in the program is really all about how to apply AI in your role. So employed professionals really looking to add industry-specific AI skills. I'll talk about this a little more in a moment, but the training program itself will be delivered in sort of 2 ways. One would be more of a industry agnostic format, where individuals really in any industry, including higher ed, we're having great conversations with community colleges about some projects where students, faculty, and staff will actually have access to our training program. and then a second version of it that will be very industry specific. We're not able at this point to make any public announcements, but we have a very interesting project going on that we'll be able to announce soon that will begin working in healthcare and being able to provide this training to healthcare providers in a couple of regional projects and a statewide effort as well. So a big emphasis on really being able to apply both building and applied AI tool work in your actual role, depending on what industry you work in. And then the last two steps are really kind of advancing into where you would become and have the background and skills to be a leader in your organization, being a part of an AI leading team who would oftentimes be the team with your administration or executive leadership that would actually lead AI planning, development, and deployment in your organization and business. And then excitingly for us, the final step of this is an option for individuals who have completed the training to go on and earn a Department of Labor registered apprenticeship, one of the first in the country that has been registered for this AI integration specialist program. Next slide, please. So another way of looking at this is sort of, sort of the 5 tracks and what they entail, and really how that applies to individuals that would be working through it, from the sort of foundations all the way really into the on-the-job training that would take place once an individual was accepted with a sponsoring employer who would host their and support their apprenticeship training with the commitment to either advance their employment if they're an incumbent worker or provide a new position for them. So really excited, and big thanks go out to our team, Kara, Brian, Garrett. Some of you have been in courses with them or worked with them who have done just tons of work to really get us set up and ready to go this quickly. Next slide, Nikki. So along with the tiering of the delivery of the program, there's obviously scaffolded credentialing. We wanted to try to provide at every tier, obviously a portable credential. At the first level or layer, we'll be providing obviously certificates from codefi. We're already having conversations with higher ed institutions that are also interested in bundling those courses and modules into certificate or graduate certificate programs. The second layer is a industry recognized credential. Obviously, one of the Department of Labor or Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act requirements is that the curriculum be driven and supported by an employer advisory committee, which I'm happy to say that we have begun assembling already, initially in healthcare, but beyond that, working with individuals in agriculture, in manufacturing, and looking at other industries as well. So WIOA eligible and recognized credential for individuals who complete the second layer. And then obviously the national portable credential of the registered apprenticeship has the certainly federal portability or national portability, and probably the most value with your local employer as well. And it's available obviously after the 3rd tier of training and the required numbers of on-the-job training hours. Next slide, please. So we're really excited about our Make Missouri AI Ready initiative. As I said before, we'll be making comprehensive announcements soon. We've been working with grant funding agencies, and we'll be able to announce some regional and statewide efforts in some industries, hopefully very soon. I wanted to make a quick note before I kind of wrap up here. And I have talked to some of you on this call, or maybe others in your organization going back maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe a little longer than that, when NSF announced this grant funding opportunity that they called Tech Access AI Ready America. And this is a grant program that's a collaboration of a variety of agencies at the federal level. NSF is administrating it, but for those of you who have read it and looked at it, it reads a lot more like a Department of Labor Education grant than it does an NSF grant. It was provided to have funding available to support state and territory coordination hubs that would be providing a variety of resources, convenings, access, and deployment of a variety of information, tools, training in every state in the US. And it's a unique competition in that it's going to be allocated over multiple rounds. One round, which begins with actually letters of intent due in just a few days, and with final proposals being due in July for the first 10 states that'll be selected from that competition to be in the first round of awardees in the country. Our organization believed that this could be a really important catalyst in AI development and training in the state. So we got pretty active in making calls to partners in the Show Me Network, also partners in St. Louis, Kansas City, and Columbia that we work closely with, and actually sort of not with the plan at the beginning to do so, but started to kind of coordinate an effort that might have ended in an application of our own, given the statewide nature of our network and the partners we work with. At the same time, I began to have conversations with the Missouri Department of Economic Development, and then later, at their suggestion, the Department of Higher Ed and Workforce Development, as I really believed that this opportunity to be competitive in this first round really needed to be a true collaborative statewide effort that comprehensively included partners of the right types who could really fulfill the requirements of the grant. It's a pretty unique opportunity. There isn't a ton of funding available through the grant, oddly, because it's gaining a lot of attention, or has gained a lot of attention. It's $1 million per year for 3 to 4 years for the partners that participate in the hub. Relatively speaking, for a statewide program, not a lot of funding. The golden nugget at that's causing so much interest is that the NOFO talked in detail about these catalyzer grant projects that will be available once the hubs are in place, federal hub leaders in place, that will take large sums of money that was appropriated to the program and grant them out to states for specific projects. So all of this to say that we thought it was really important that Missouri puts its best foot forward. I'm pleased to say that after our conversations with DED and DUDE, they agreed to work together, and we're beginning to work on an application to this opportunity. Obviously, many of you also know that the University of Missouri has a center that they've established recently, and they announced their intent to go after this funding as well. And I think maybe the best end result of our work on this is that those two groups have now agreed to participate together on a single application. So we've got, obviously, the land-grant university of the state, the two departments of state government that are working very closely together on workforce and economic development, all working with partners across the variety of segments, hopefully to put a winning application in. And so I wanted to share that information because I know some of you have been waiting on me to kind of circle back on this particular topic. I'm sure those organizations will continue to update us on their progress as they initially provide a letter of intent and then put a full application together by mid-July. I am aware that there are potentially other organizations or groups that are planning to provide a letter of intent as well. From what I'm told, I do believe the governor's office is strongly supporting, or I should say, may support the Mizzou and DUDE and DED application, and I think that that will be important. So good outcome there. Thank you all for your patience as we kind of worked through that. Nikki, next slide. I just wanted, before I turn things over to Crystal Irons, my friend and colleague over at eFactory, to give an update on the network and some activities going on, to remind all of you that if you have aspiring founders that hit you up for help, especially if they're trying to validate tech-based ideas, if they have business plans or ideas that will include technical components, we would invite you to refer them to us, and we will get them into our platform called Traction Studio AI. The platform is being more widely used across the state now, as we've just rolled out the beta of the second tier of the platform. Some of you have heard from previous information we provided about it. It takes about 20 years of our intellectual property, and what's important on getting started and gaining traction as quickly as you can. It sort of combines that with our own unique approach to leverage the artificial intelligence and workflow and work automation that is available through the platform. And in the third tier, which we hope to roll out very soon, we have fully trained agents that will be serving in autonomous roles for the founding teams that use the platform. So we're super excited to see it continue to grow, and more users benefit from it. Some of you may have been involved with the Missouri Startup Weekend program not long ago in Columbia. We partnered with Redbud VC and the folks there to sort of collaborate on this year's competition. Many of the companies that participated really leveraged Traction Studio to their benefit during Missouri Startup Weekend. And we'll have some announcements soon about some partner developments in St. Louis and Kansas City, where Traction will become more and more widely used in those programs as well. So please refer anybody that you think could benefit, especially if they're thinking about trying to raise capital. This is a system really built with that thought in mind, that the end result of the first wave is really all the information, artifacts, and documents and data that anyone would need to make the decision about what kinds of capital to raise. Obviously, through our grant relationship with eFactory and with the Missouri Department of Economic Development, we have SSBCI technical assistance funds that help us provide the system at no cost for people who are working through that first tier to try to really validate the desirability, viability, and feasibility of their business idea. So they get in at no cost if they're in Missouri, and we have that funding through the end of 2027. So please let us know if there's anybody that you're working with that we can help with Traction Studio. And with that, Nikki, I'll let you advance the slides to the end, where I would invite Crystal Irons from eFactory and MSU, or MSU's SBDC, to hop on.
All right, thank you, James. Wanted to just remind all of our community connectors, regional connectors, and training partners that there is a toolkit that Nikki and others on the codefi team have been kindly creating to help share information across the state. So there's social media content there, program descriptions, and other things that you can easily access and share in your communications outgoing. And there is a link to that there, of course, on the Show Me Network website. And if ever you need assistance with any of that, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us, and we'll make sure that you have access to that. And also a reminder that we have our next Show Me Connection webinar coming up on July 14th at 2 p.m. And we hope to see you all there and appreciate you all working with us to hop on today. And Jason, again, thank you so much for the wonderful information that you shared with us as well.
Thanks. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today, and please reach out if there's anything we can do to help. And we look forward to seeing you on the next call. Thanks very much.